Awaken to your truth that you are the I Am presence in harmony with the divine. You are consciousness beyond what the body and mind identify. Your hosts Linda Hope and Sharon Berkowitz will remind and enlighten you to know your divine nature. You were born into the body already aware, but forgot it as you expanded your sense of identity, ego mind, pattern behaviors, and habits. Stop sleepwalking and wake up to your timeless, eternal, formless self. Now, here are your hosts of Moment to Moment, Linda Hope and Sharon Berkowitz.
Aloha, and welcome everyone to Moment to Moment. This is Sharon Berkowitz, and I'm your host, filling in for Linda Hope. And this broadcast is coming live to you from the big island of Hawaii. So feel free to post like where you're from, any comments you'd like to share during this broadcast. We'd love to hear from you. And today, I'd like to introduce to you our special, wonderful guest, Billie Topa Tate. I'm going to bring her on right now. Up there she is. Aloha, Billie.
Aloha and mahalo.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you today.
And it's awesome to have you, and we're so excited to have you on the show. So I'd like to introduce you. So Billie Topa Tate has also been my first teacher, and we've met about 15 years ago. And I've been learning so much and studying from Billie. She's truly an amazing woman, a person, friend, and mentor. So Billie Topa Tate is the founder of MSI Healing Center, an earth-friendly educational institute located in Evanston, Illinois. Billie is Mescalero Apache and is dedicated to presenting the sacred principles, doctrines, and teachings of her native culture and many ancient wisdom systems from around the world, creating synthesis through harmony of many lineages. She is dedicated to be of service to anyone who is seeking wellness, spiritual growth, mindfulness, and training to build on current healing practices. She has been offering services for over 25 years in the North Shore Evanston community. Billie offers clients and students her expertise as a native teacher and mentor. Billie also offers energy-based treatments such as Reiki, native energy sessions, and craniosacral therapy. Billie has developed extensive wisdom-filled classes and training for the general public. She also provides specialized training and lectures for hospitals, such as Rush University Hospital. Billie has created training courses in oncology at specialized hospitals, such as the Cancer Treatment Center of America, trauma centers, and has lectured for several years at Northwestern University to the pre-medical division on Reiki and Indigenous wellness. Billie is also an 8th degree Reiki master teacher, a certified massage therapist, meditation teacher, and native elder, Mescalero Apache. She has lectured and provides training for environmentally friendly efforts, meditation, yoga, and stress-related modalities. She is the author of the Smudging Ceremony book of the Apache Guide for Sacred Smudging Plants. Billie Topa Tate provides a rare and beautiful glimpse into the spirit world through the eyes of the medicine woman. Welcome, Billie.
Thank you so much, Sharon. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you. And also to Linda. I know she's not here right now, but she's here in spirit. So I want to thank you both for this beautiful platform to create a landscape of beautiful energy for people all over the world. And, you know, as a Native person, our goal is to create a sacred space, one person at a time, through Indigenous training and sharing wisdom from our tradition. And yes, I am Mescalero Apache, and I have in the center that we have here, but all over the world, have done our best to share this Indigenous wisdom to the people who are interested to create a sacred space one person at a time. So I'm very delighted to be here on this beautiful platform and sharing this with other people.
Yes, thank you so much, Billie. We're so excited to have you here on the show. And the one thing about I want to ask you first is Billie Topa Tate. You know, some people may be curious to know what that means and how you received that name.
Yes, well, Billie Topa Tate means four winds. And Topa Tate was something that it's a naming ceremony that we have during the time of our upbringing. Our parents and our elders view us and see how we interact with the world. And they can decide through that viewing what our spirit guides, their names and their helpers to support our beautiful journey, which we call life. And so Topa Tate means four winds, but the Apache also have a name, a personal name for me called Wazayata. Wazayata means wind that sings. So it's a symbolic representation of my journey, which is sharing information through conversation, through exchange of knowledge and things. So the Topa Tate is my totem, which is the wind, and the wind is my totem. I love the wind. It's a wonderful way of traveling the energy around the world and in other wonderful universes and constellations. The wind is a very powerful tool. So that's the background story about my name.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You know, and I know when I think of the wind, you know, a lot of times I think of you and it reminds me of you. And I just love that. So, and I know you've been learning and practicing, you know, at a very early age. Can you tell us when and how you knew that you were even enlightened or when that came about?
Well, in the Native tradition, the firstborn female is provided the training about the constellation of the stars, the stories about our elders and how they interacted with what you or other people might call angels, our guides that were instructed by the Creator to teach us about the earth, about the plants, and about ceremony. Because ceremony was a way that through our training that we adjusted the energy field around us so that we can get connected to our spirit helpers and our guides much more clearly to lift the veil. And we always know that the spirit world, the energy world is around us all the time. But when we do ceremony, that veil is lifted even more so that we can connect with them and ask them questions and allow for their wonderful wisdom and guidance to help us during different times, you know, in our ceremonies. So my mother, Mama Little Wolf, handed me over to my teachers when I was 11 years old. And I remember that I felt the energy of my teachers. They had no hidden agendas except to be of service. And also they were extremely wise. And from that point, they taught me a lot of things, meditation platform. And, you know, I was 11 years old, so I didn't, you know, when you're 11 years old, you want to be with your other friends that are running around. And but I really felt immediately that creating a landscape in your mind to connect to a powerful place that has a tremendous amount of wisdom was not just for me, but for the people that I was going to work with and I was going to meet. And they really helped my mind to understand that, yes, I was 11 years old, but my spirit was had many, many lifetimes. And then this lifetime that I chose to want very much to have that light in my mind and share it with others through the indigenous wellness that we have as Native people. So I knew at 11 years old that I was being blessed by these wonderful teachers who still guide me to this very day.
Yes, I know that when you walk in this within the spirit world, that there's so much opportunity, so many gifts that we know that we already have, but then they become part of us. That when we learn that, we just tend to grow and evolve with these wonderful gifts. And I love what you said, Billy, about tuning into that, into who you truly are, into that in the spirit, in the eyes of spirit, who you are, and helping you grow even at 11 years old. That's so young to get a good start in what you're doing. So you've been pretty much doing this all your life. And that's really great. That's wonderful.
Yes, at 11 years old, I had many beautiful teachers, and one of my teachers leaned over and smiled and said, "You are very, very smart to have these beautiful parents that watch over you and guide you." And as he spoke it to me, I saw beautiful pictures of my parents walking with me down a beautiful road going home. And I thought to myself, I am truly lucky. And now that I'm 70 years old, I really look at my life and I say, I've been truly blessed to really have a lot of wisdom to share with others to help them on their journeys.
Yes, absolutely. And that wisdom, appears to us in images, like the downloads, like you see, like in your third eye, it's just like something you envisioned, but really resonated with you. So it meant truth. So can you tell us about MSI and what that stands for and what your mission is?
Well, when I first opened up the center, I sat in meditation and asked my guides, about our great purpose and the name of our center. And they said it was a Mystical Sciences Institute. And that's what MSI stands for. And I really loved it because it was so inclusive to everything, not just the Indigenous presentation platforms that we have here. We do predominantly share a lot of the wonderful training that isn't in any books about our Apache tradition. And I really love doing that because I feel that the more we share, the more other people can gain wisdom that they can really utilize in their journey, which we call life. And any way that I can do that to create a sacred space, one person at a time, helps to change the world.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also a gentle way to move into that, because the mind may have some limitations, some restrictions, but when you come here, it opens up your mind, it opens up your heart, and you really feel loved. You really feel that, and the wonderful energy. I know what drew me to MSI was the wonderful meditations that you offer on Friday nights. And it's open to the public and people come in. It's free of charge. And it's just really a wonderful place to have a great meditation and to be in your presence, which is a beautiful energy.
Thank you so much, Sharon. It's wonderful because the first meditation that I recorded was called the Loving Kindness Meditation. It's on our website. It's free. And I went to the elders of our Apache Nation and I said, I made this meditation and it was the sunrise ceremony of the people. And I asked permission to be able to record this and to give it out to the world. And they said, you are more than welcome to record it, to give it out on one condition, that you always give it free. Mm-hmm. And so that was a commitment I made 20 some years ago. And that was a wonderful meditation that's still on our website at msi-healing.com. But we have some other wonderful resources. We really believe that meditation is a platform that helps our mind be guided by higher thought and allows for our personality and our spirit to connect with the Creator and all of the Creator's helpers so that they can help us and guide us on our wonderful journey to experience this beautiful place, but also to help others by sharing our light with them.
Yes, absolutely. And, Billie, I met my husband at your place at a meditation. So you never know who you're going to meet, and it's also bringing beautiful people together, like-minded people that share in that same similar wisdom, that they're just open about it. And people even sometimes even go out to eat afterwards, or, they enjoy that time together. So it's really beautiful.
Well, thank you. I always try to, with our meditation platform, we have a circle because we meditate in a circle, because that's the way Native people were trained, is to create a circle of life. And I tell my younger students that there are many platforms that help bring out the best in us. One of the platforms that's so very important is our social circles. And to select social circles that bring out the best in us, and also that we bring out the best in them. And for the young people, I always ask for them to consider to connect with social circles that will help them to bring about new awarenesses, new creativity, empowerment, and that they do add great value in the world, and to seek that out. So people often ask me, what is the best thing you can do in the world? And the best thing that you can do in the world is to ask yourself, how you can be of a great purpose and service to the world. And through that process, you learn the power of who you are and your great life's purpose. And it really is a very helpful way of really understanding that you do have a wonderful life purpose, and there are short aspects to it and long-term aspects, but both of them will help you to know thyself and also to utilize the great gifts that you have for the world.
Yes. And, I like how you talked about circles, the circles of life, like the circle, Earth is a circle, and I was sharing about you today with someone. They said, I'll be interviewing you. And she says, oh, I remember when she first met you, and we walked into together, actually, a friend of mine, we walked into your center, and it just felt so grounding and spiritual, both at the same time. And she said that you have such wonderful earth energy, like you're, giving, and receiving from the earth. And you could just sense that, reciprocation, that flow. And it just felt so inviting to come to your place and to experience that. And so I highly recommend that everyone, if you're in Evanston, Illinois, go see MSI Wellness Center.
Right. Yeah. And also, we do have people from all over the world that access our online Zoom classes, and our Facebook page that uploads a lot of wonderful videos from, different places that I go. For my birthday, which I just had my birthday, March 29th.
Happy birthday, Billie. Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you. What I do on my birthday is I go on my sabbatical. I go to the sacred mountains of Sedona, and I go climb the mountains and spend time with my teachers in spirit, but also the plant kingdom, which the Native people, we were given stewardship of the plants, and through the Creator and our helpers. And the plants are extremely powerful. And when I climb the mountain, I harvest those plants, because wild plants are very, very powerful. Domesticated plants are wonderful too, but it's the difference between a wolf and a dog. They're both great, but have different depths of power. And so I really love doing that, because I'm sure plants give us food, they give us medicine, and they also give us spiritual qualities. That's why I wrote this book, the smudging book. It has a lot of beautiful old stories, but also how to use them. And the interesting part is we cannot live without the plants, but they can certainly live without us. They are independent of us. And I remember asking my grandfather, why they are so giving to us. And he said, they every moment extend their hand out to us in hopes that they will find a realization from us that they are sentient beings, and that they are here to help us. and we should honor and respect that medicine. So just wanted
And
to
they know who they are, right? The plants know who they are. Our animal kingdom, they know who they are. Who doesn't know who they are the humans, right? The sentient beings. And so we're here to learn, and we can discover for ourselves who we truly are, even from our surroundings, from even, our experiences. But knowing that from the heart of who we truly are is that divine wisdom, that divine intelligence, that spirit that we all have within.
Definitely.
Yes. And your book called The Smudging Ceremony that you just showed up to us. There it is. Yes. And can you share with our audience what smudging is and why it's significant?
Well, a long time ago, the creator said, okay, I'm a little busy creating other universes. And he gave us teachers of light, spirits that helped us. And those spirits are actually in petroglyphs all over the canyons of New Mexico and Arizona. And what they taught us is they said that we're going to teach you about ceremony. And they said ceremony was a way of adjusting the environment so that we can start to vibrate at a rate where we could understand and remember where our spirit is, but also to connect with our guides. And through that process, they taught us about the plants, that when they are dried in a certain way, that we create sacred intentions and prayers with them, that we can use these beautiful plants in their dry form to create a vibration, a quality, an aroma that will do specific things. So the first platform that we were taught was the smudging platform, and it's pretty much done all over the world now. People know about smudging, but what I did is, because there was so much out on the internet and it was pieces of wisdom, I decided to write the book called the Apache Guidebook, the native guide to the sacred smudging of plants. And there are different types of smudging, but basically smudging is using the plants to purify our aura. We all get a little dusty from the trails, so to speak, and energy around us all the time. The plants actually will help us to cleanse our energy field. And our energy field is we have a basic operating system in our energy field that helps us to really maintain our vitality, understand what we wanted to work on in this world, and so much more. But what the smudging does is we usually use a shell that can withstand the heat of the fire that first is part of the smudging, and we place the basic structure of we call them the 4 sacreds, which is tobacco, sweetgrass, sage, and cedar. And there's lots of beautiful stories about these plants and why they decided to be participants of a purification for us. So that is also in the book, that the trees shared their stories and their spirit energy with us and gave us this wonderful gift of smudging. And so the basic structure is to use the 4 sacreds in the bowl and light them and offer that up as a sacred intention to purify the energy field. What we do is we do a wonderful native prayer, and I'll do that for you, just so you can share that with everyone that is participating in this viewing. So we light the sacreds. We put them in, separately. And even when we hold them in our fingers, we're offering up a wonderful intention. We offer up the bowl and we say a native prayer, and I'll do that for you. Wangandanka, Oshimala, Ochetalo, Ochetalo. A wonderful creator, thank you so very much for this beautiful day, and thank you for this sacred way of praying. Thank you for this wonderful moment in time. And we invoke for our wonderful helpers, our spirit guides, our wonderful angels, all the wonderful beings who assist us, our virtuous ancestors, holy medicine people. Be with us today, help us on our journey, guide us and provide us with the wisdom that we need to evolve and become enlightened, to share it with the world and our families, a home at Takuyasan. And then we smudge ourselves. We take a fan, we can use our hands if you like, or we have the feather that we use as well to move the smudge or the smoke to ourselves, to clean our chakras, our energy field, with the intention of having the smoke lift the energy that is not serving us very well up to Father Sky. And then we smudge our loved ones, whether they're in person or in just our mind. We can put a person in front of us that we love so very much, especially if they're having difficult times, and just move that wonderful purification, cleansing of earth and of the energy world to assist them to experience a cleansing of their energy field. And we feel lighter as a result of that. And we're lifting all the energies that might have been impinging upon our well-being before the smudging. So that's the basic structure, but then there's different types of smudging. We use the sacred smudging for launching a preparation for ceremony. We do that. There's a medicine woman smudging in this book, which is really beautiful. You can also use smudging to cleanse at a distance, distant energy sessions for the smudging ceremony. So there's different types of smudging that's in the book, which I wanted to write it because I knew that when I was looking on the internet, everything was so, pieced.
Mm-hmm.
Not really this holistic aspect of why we do this and how to do it in the native tradition.
Yes, it's important though to see everything together, and that to give the people the information that they really need, because otherwise they're hearing it pieces here and there, but this way they're getting everything in one place. So
Mm-hmm.
highly recommend getting the smudging book, the smudging ceremony. And interesting that with abalone shell, that could be one of the shells that we could put the sacreds in. And I like how you talked about the feather, because why would we use a feather? Isn't there an important reason for that?
Yes, there is. There's a very old story that the other kingdoms on this planet, which is the plant kingdom, we call them the tree nation, the animal kingdom, and also the crystal kingdom, and a lot of other kingdoms are on this planet with us. We are together on this planet. And one of the things about the sacred fire is we have a story that all of the kingdoms sat in this sacred fire and offered their services to us, human beings, and said, we want to symbolically give you a tool, an energetic tool. And the winged brothers, we call them Toyoshbaye, extended family, the birds, they offered up their feather and said, when you use this in your smudging ceremony, we want you to think about the question that you have, or the intention, or the situation that you have, and I want you to look at it from a distance, from a bird's eye view, so you can see the holistic aspect of the situation, which will give you a perspective that may help you with your question or your situation. And that's why we use the feather, to help us to be able to see our situation, our intention.
Yes.
In a wonderful way.
From a higher perspective than what we see here. Because
Right.
when you have that bird's eye view of a situation or an experience or a thought even, then this way you can see something different that you didn't even think of. Like something new will come through. And just finding yourself in a relaxed space. We talk about sacred breath, relaxing the breath, and just tuning into yourself without any of the distractions. I call the distractions all the little shiny objects around you that grab your attention, that want to take you away, take your focus someplace else. and even the day-to-day things that take us out of ourselves. So how could we use this ceremony to help us ground ourselves or talk about sacred breath, and how can we use that?
Well, the sacred breath is a term that Native people use when they want to connect with, for me, the medicine woman within me. For a man, it would be the shaman within them. There is a part of us that is extremely wise and very ancient. And when we go into our sacred breath, we're going into a balanced state of thinking and breathing. So what is truly sacred breath? Well, sacred breath has to do with being one with everything. So you can experience that when you go out in nature and you see the beautiful trees and the mountains and the water and the birds. And you look at all these things and you find yourself really experiencing this beautiful gift that nature is. We say that nature is the doorway to our spirituality, is the doorway to where we came from, which is the place of light. So when we are connecting with all of these things and sending them a blessing, our breath actually changes, and our breath goes into a place that is very sacred. Even when we do ceremony, we go into that place. We have what's called a preparatorial ceremony that we initiate before we actually do sweat lodge or facilitate a meditation or do a vision quest or whatever we're doing. We do this preparatory protocol that we sit and we think about the trees and we think about the plants and we think about the animals and the water and the sky and the mountains and the angels and the crystals, and we say to them, we are honored to know you. We are honored to be here with you, and we send you blessings, and we send that blessings. And when we do that, we are actually demonstrating our enlightenment. We're demonstrating that we are aware, that we are sentient beings that are evolving and connecting with those powerful kingdoms and acknowledging them in a very powerful way. When we do that, our breath goes into what is called sacred breath. Now, when we are first born, we don't say happy birthday. What we say is happy sacred breath day. It's the day that we come into this world and we take our first breath. And then our elders raise us up to the Creator with great gratitude, and that our sacred breath was done today. So even to this very day, I get phone calls from my relatives and they say, happy sacred breath day to you.
Yeah, great. That's really wonderful. And I really enjoy walking through nature, just taking hikes here, in Hawaii, for example, or when we visited Sedona, going through the mountains and just feeling connected, connecting to the plant medicine, connecting to the earth, Mother Earth, connecting in ceremony during the sweat lodge and everything that led up to the sweat lodge with the drumming and the singing of the songs. And it helps us to harmonize the heart, the body, mind, and soul together. So we can walk as one consciousness, that we're just one with everything and loving everything just as it is. Because from that point, that higher perspective, then we're actually intuiting. We're using our intuitive nature to be that, to live that of who we truly are, from that more grounded, more evolved place. And it's not even a place to go to. It's just within your heart, within your own being, taking that action forward and living in a beautiful way, no matter what is happening around you. Because, Billie, a lot of things are happening to people. Some people get distressed or, they're nervous about things. But there's a way to bring in and use sacred breath where you can calm your system and you could actually elevate your immune system in a good way, by, maybe placing your hand on your heart and maybe your hand on your head, and just, breathing deeply and tuning in. And then as you do that, you could release and let light emanate from your heart to all parts of your body. And then that way it helps you to be more centered. And then you can start making decisions and then moving forward.
Yes, and practice is the mother of all beautiful skills. So that is why it's important to, to meditate, to walk in nature. And we can actually deepen that whole process by honoring and respecting the kingdoms that are here and becoming their advocates, to introduce them to other people, to know the plants and say, here's a beautiful plant that gives us oxygen. It's wonderful, and we want to honor and respect that by taking care of them. So it's a really good way of helping our children to know thyself, so it's really good.
Yes, and I think starting at a young age like you did, if more people can start at a younger age, we could have a different environment, maybe a different way of life, some ways that would really inspire people in such wonderful ways. And you talk about in your smudging ceremony book, there is healing in nature. And when we acknowledge this healing energy, it becomes medicine for our mind, body, and spirit. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Well, what happens when we start looking at nature as a platform by which the Creator requested and provided opportunities for all these other sentient beings to be here, like the plants and the trees and the animals and the crystals and the water and the sky. And when we start to interact with them in an enlightened way, they start interacting with us in an enlightened way. And there is something in my new book that's coming out with Luella Publishing at the end of this year. And that's a new book. It's a really wonderful book where it talks about that that thoughts are energy carriers. They carry energy. And when we engage with another sentient being, like animals or plants or water, like when I take a shower, I send a blessing to the water. I say, thank you so very much for being here. And if you think about it, water has been on this planet since the inception of the planet. It's the same water. And it transcends itself from being water to a mist to ice to the clouds, and cleans itself and provides us with this. We cannot live without water. And so it's the same water that's been here since the inception of this planet. It's very wise, very wise. So when you engage with other kingdoms in that way, and my ancestors have taught me that when we speak with enlightened conversation during ceremony, we are elevating ourselves so that we can show the other sentient beings that we are aware and that we are enlightened, and coming into the next stage because there's always the next stage of enlightenment.
There's always layers, right? It seems like, when you get to one part, then something may challenge you, or you may have you look at something and you're like, oh, okay, it's okay,
Well, where there is stress, there is focus. Where there is focus, there's potential for resolution. And that is why the universe puts us in situations so that we can understand ourselves a little bit more and the potential and power we have to transcend things and to transform things, which we have the power to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have a comment too that they just love how this is all being taught from generation to the next. And so it's so important that we reveal this information and share this. So that's why, MSI Wellness Center is here, and it's been around for so long because people are drawn to this. They're drawn to learning more. even more about themselves, how they can help themselves to awaken. They can help themselves to help other people, to be of service, to be of service to others, and see how that grows and manifests in the world. And I have another quote here from your book. Our homes and living spaces are very much like our energy field. It thrives within a state of balance. So can you share a little bit more about that from your book?
Yes, our homes, our living spaces are very much like our energy field. We are impacted by the energy around us. And also, we come to realize that we have what's called sovereignty over our space, that we have living rights over our space. In my new book that's coming out with Luella Publishing at the end of this year, I talk about energetic narratives. Energetic narratives are what we were taught to invoke our helpers to come and help us, to guide us, and also to understand that we are a conduit of energy on a conscious level and an unconscious level. On the conscious level, we are actually able to be bringing in energies and qualities to help our living spaces to be much more profoundly, of high vibration. We practice that here at MSI. When people come into the space, they really feel loved, nurtured, and in a very sacred space. And that happens during the ceremonies, but it can happen in our homes because we are interacting with all kinds of energies throughout the day, and we're experiencing all kinds of emotions. As we progress, we know that can magnetize our beds, our cars, our homes, everything. And so what we want to do is know that we can do what is called an energy exchange. An energy exchange means that we lift the energy through our intention in our homes that is not serving us very well, and ask for the wonderful angels and helpers to take it for healing in the spirit world and fill the void with the qualities that we're looking for, which is divine light, safety, wisdom, peace, harmony. That's our sovereignty and living rights to ask for these beautiful energies to be part of our home, our living space, our office, wherever we are. And so the smudging book really kind of talks a lot about that, our home is like our energy field. It really needs cleansing too, and I'm sure that if you put something in the refrigerator, today, and then you look at it tomorrow, it might be still good, but then maybe a week later, it's not so good. We need to constantly be changing and cleansing constantly. It's a really good thing.
Yeah, purification is just wonderful to be able to know that you can cleanse, your home, your living space, like you said, your car, anything that you become in contact with, even your aura. You can talk about, cleansing your aura and, also putting in good energy, like putting in those healthy words that you just spoke about, joy, peace, love, wisdom, happiness, hope, all of these things that you could place in the aura as well, because that's what you'll be attracting. When you have your energy, you're vibrating at a certain vibration, that there's a way that then you're attracting that same onto yourself. So why not go a higher vibration and, see how things can be experienced in another way?
Mm-hmm. Well, even our wallets carry different kinds of energy because we're constantly engaging and magnifying our wallets. And we can actually move that energy out and infuse the wallet with prosperity, great opportunities, abundance, financial abundance. All of those are qualities that we can actually have as an intention to impose upon our wallets, our bank accounts online. We can do that for our homes. We can do that for the food that we eat. Everything that connects with us has the great potential for change.
I'm sure you caught our audience's attention. You got their ear, especially when you're talking about, financial and food things that people, every day, this is what we do. How can we, be more in abundance and live a healthier lifestyle, right?
My teacher used to say that, good people with more money do more good things. And I remember, I'll tell you a quick story, which demonstrates this. Is two months ago, I knew that a friend of mine was having their birthday, so I put together a little birthday card. I offered to them. I said, "Happy birthday." And the first thing she did was say, "Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, you shouldn't have." And I said, "Okay, can you pretend it's my birthday and give it to me?" And she said, "Sure." So she gave it to me, and I took it, and I said, "Thank you so very much, Carrie, for giving me this beautiful gift. When I use it, I will send you a blessing." And I said, "Now it's your turn." And she said that, and she said, "That was really hard for me to do." And I said, "Well, let me tell you this. If you're not accepting your goodness at that level, you can't imagine what you're not accepting at the other levels." And she said, "Oh my goodness." And I said, "So let's practice." I gave her a little homework. 2 weeks later, she came to me and she said, "I have something to share with you." I said, "Okay." And she said, I practiced that, and the other place I work, they let me go. They said they couldn't keep me there, and all of the residents that I work with were just so upset. They went to the administrative office. They said, "We really would like her to be working here." And they said, "Well, we have to cut back." And so they came to her and they said, "I would like to take you out to lunch." And in her mind, she was going to go, "No, you shouldn't have." But then she heard my voice and she said, "Yes." So they took her to lunch. After lunch, they gave her an envelope. And she, again, was going to say, "Oh, no, you shouldn't have." But she didn't say that. She grabbed a hold of it and she said, "Thank you. Whatever is in here, I'm going to send you a blessing every time I use it." She opened up the envelope and it was $10,000.
Wow.
She said she started to cry. And she has never seen so much because all the residents were retired. They were very well off. And so she told me about that. And then she said, right after that happened, I went home. I got a phone call, and it was the office that they wanted me to come back. And so she said, I not only got my job back, but I got $10,000.
She got a bonus.
Yeah. She said, "I really thank you very much for bringing an awareness to me. I didn't even know I was doing that." And I just smiled and I said, "Well, don't forget to take me to lunch."
Yeah. So now you get the free lunch from that. It's interesting how people can hold on to old habits. "Oh, you shouldn't have done that," or "Why did you do that? I didn't expect you to." And instead of going in that direction, just being grateful, having that attitude of gratitude, for, like we said, for everything, loving everything. "Oh, thank you for that envelope," and just having that energy about you of gratitude will bring more of that, what to be grateful for, because now that's what you're vibrating at. And so,
Oops, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I always tell people you don't know what everyone's working on something in this world from other lifetimes. And I always tell people sometimes you don't know what you're working on because there's a level of unawareness that transpires. So I always tell people that in the morning when they're doing their intentions for the day, they place their hands in namaste and they say, "I today will accept my goodness and accept the goodness of others 100%. So what that does is it adjusts the aura. So if there is a block or obstacle to their financial prosperity or their social circles or their health, that they're adjusting their energy field on a daily basis to be what I call having a more like a permeability factor in their energy field that actually helps them to have these opportunities and to see them and to accept them.
Awesome. And and I know you're doing a lot of Reiki, helping people with Reiki. and that energy. And, I studied with you, and to this day, I still do Reiki in the morning. I do self Reiki, and I go through all the different energy centers. Can you tell me about what Reiki is, and your eighth degree, and how important it is?
Energy work is so very important for our energy field. We are made of all kinds of wonderful energy, and energy crosses the span of time and space. And the way I learned Reiki is when I was with my mother, very young. She talked to me about going outside of the tribe to learn the different traditions of energy work. And it was not an accident that I met some wonderful Rinpoches, some beautiful monks who introduced me to the Reiki energy. And I really loved it because many of the understandings and principles were so very similar to what I was trained in our indigenous wellness. And so Reiki really has to do with the vibration of the Reiki symbols that actually vibrate at a certain rate to help heal the body, mind, and spirit. And as I said before, we all get a little dusty from the trail. So we clean the energy field, and then we administer the Reiki symbols into the energy field to allow for the body to release energies that are not of high vibration. And when we do that, we introduce the body, mind, and spirit to a wonderful healing process that the body experiences. So if you think about even in feng shui, when there's a lot of congestion, the energy doesn't flow properly. And we believe as Native people that the body is like a river. It needs to flow really well for the vitality of the body to be present, and that health also occurs when the body flows like the river, a very healthy river. So we administer the Reiki symbols into the energy field to allow for any congestion, any restrictions to be released. And then we administer the qualities of safety, peace, healthy vitality, a lot of things that go in with the symbols that help the body to really heal itself. And even the body, when there's, restrictions, like let's just say they have a restricted shoulder, the massage therapist moves that energy so there's more blood circulation that happens. And it's as above, so below. When you do that to the physical body, the emotional aspect of us, the mental aspect of us, the etheric aspect of us, the spiritual aspect also has to flow. And as my teacher would say, the issues are definitely in the tissues. When you're working with the body, it's going to release those memories or those traumas so that the body can heal itself, which is good. So the Reiki symbols are really, really structured to have a high quality vibration for the body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah, and the body is made up of divine intelligence. Like all the cells are very intelligent and they communicate with each other, and yes, everything is so interconnected that when we have intention and focus using Reiki and the Reiki symbols, that it really does, raise up the energy vibration by getting rid of things that don't serve us and moving things into a higher way. And I know that from the studies when we did this, it also, Reiki can be a tool helping people obtain enlightenment or true and total happiness and wisdom of the body, mind, and spirit. And that is from Usui. It's in your Reiki book from many years ago.
Yes. Yes. And actually, my teacher used to say, it's a little hard to keep them on the farm when they've seen Perry. In other words, when you really experience that enlightenment, especially through the attunement process, which, we teach Reiki here all the way up until third or fourth degree master teacher, we introduce them to these wonderful wisdoms and the symbols, and we also want them to learn how to do that for themselves. Administering self-care is really, really very important for our connection and relationship with our spirit and our physical body. That's really important.
And could you share also how to help our loved ones and who are with us and those who have transitioned.
Yes, well, when we have our loved ones in the energy world, the spirit world, they can really help us so very much. They are with all kinds of wonderful evolved beings, and they can assist us here on Mother Earth, which is really that's their honor to do. And also, we have people in our families, in our social circles, and all the loved ones. Sometimes we see them having difficult times, and because our intentions have power, especially if our intentions are to do service work for someone's evolution. You have said the magic word. I wrote in my book that's coming up in the end of this year with Wella Publishing. I said that angels and helpers cross the span of time and space for one reason, for our evolution. When we ask for someone that we care about to experience enlightenment, they come across the span of wherever they are in the universe to help us to send that energy. And we, with our mind, can see that person in wellness and in happiness and accepting their own goodness. We are adding value to that person and helping them on their journey because someone did that for us.
Right.
So we can do that.
Yeah, seeing people as perfect and whole, because everything else is illusion. Everything else is the Maya, the dream, that we're dreaming a dream here within that. But knowing that, then what we're talking about when we talk about awakened is to rise above this, rise above the mind chatter, knowing our intuitive self, spirit, the spirit within, and that which guides us.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we empower ourselves to have a higher energy vibration? Anything else that you could suggest?
Well, as I said, thoughts, feelings, and words are energy carriers. They have always been energy carriers. And the more mindful our quality of words, our quality of feelings, and our qualities of thought, and that's why meditation and affirmations, meditation, mantras, honoring the sentient beings, working in a very evolved way, actually helps us to evolve and to have different thoughts about the world and ourselves. These are things that are really very, very important in our world and also for us. We start to look around and we step out of a fog and say we have more power over situations than we can possibly imagine. And that's why, elevated thoughts, elevated thinking, elevated feelings are very, very important so that when we look at a stress point, we can see that there are solutions to it. We can transform it and extract the wisdom and move on, and with that wisdom.
Right. And I love that about moving on. Like once you've gotten the wisdom for it and you've come rise above it, then it's no longer in your energy field. It's already released. And so that also is really high assistance. And then it also helps us to recognize, like hearing our guides, like for me, for example, like I'll hear a high pitch, it's like something to say, oh, okay. And I know it's coming from somewhere that is in the spirit world. And so what I do then is I just ask, okay, what is it that I need to know in this moment? Is there any other way that you can say how to hear our guides?
Well, in the ceremony, we do we have a little whistle, and we're mimicking the sound we hear with the high pitched tone because our guides they are very evolved, so they vibrate at a very high rate. And what we were taught is if we hear them trying to talk with us, we invoke by the power of our good merits to adjust the frequency of our mind so we can receive the information that we need. And then we focus on our breath and make it sacred breath to align with that piece of information as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I know we're coming up to the top of the hour. And can you bring up the line that we need to be able to reach out to MSI Wellness Center? It was on our screen a few minutes ago. There it is. So it's msi-healing.com for more information, and you can receive classes there. You can get information. You can have sessions with Billie and Billie Topa Tate. And Billie, is there anything else that you would like to say to our audience today?
Well, I'd also like to say that we are on Facebook too. If you go on MSI Wellness Center or Topa Tate Billie, you will see our Facebook pages, and we have lots of wonderful information, free videos and things of that nature. But our MSI Wellness Center is on our website, which is msi-healing.com. And we have a lot of wonderful information. If you go onto our site and give us your email address, you could receive our free e-bursts with lots of great information. And we just look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Billie. Billie Topa Tate, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you here on Moment to Moment on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Sharon.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.
Thank you.